Well, this day's starting out different. Took it easy and slow getting ready this morning. It's 7:30 as opposed to 7. Just now got back on the trail coming up from the 1/10 or so from the shelter. Must say that the bear hanging situation last night at the shelter was one of the more interesting ones. I almost bumped my head on one bag, it was so low. People just do not understand this bear hanging situation. They seem to think that they're just protecting it from mice. I really almost wish that a bear would come through and ransack some of these sacks. You'd wake them up. Anyway, I got two choices today as usual. I can go 13 miles to a shelter. I got one. Well, I got to finish climbing the one hill I'm on. And I got a long down, then I got a pretty good size up. But then I come down and I start doing a bunch of little humps again. But after the shelter that's at 13 miles, they're basically just a bunch of small little mountains, as I call speed bumps. But some of those speed bumps can be pretty rough because those are some of the ones that go straight up and down, and they can be pretty steep. The next shelter after that is basically 29 something, almost 30. But that puts me just a few miles outside of Waynesboro. So the choice is, do I go 30 today or do I do 13? And then split that difference, pick up the rest of the 30 tomorrow. I have food, yes, kind of. Not as much as I would like for throughout the day. I couldn't get as many Cliff Bars as I wanted because the stores were out. So eating during the day is going to be kind of rough. And of course my breakfast only consists of Pop-Tarts because I couldn't get anything at the store for breakfast. These resupplies can be rough with the number of hikers that are on the trail and the lack of the store supplying much quantity anyway, or quality for that matter. Anyway, we'll do the 13, see how things look. About an hour into the hike, coming down a mountain the shelter was on. First view of the day, hazy out, still a good view of the Bat Valley. Well, I'm at 2,700 feet. And I'm only halfway where I need to be. This is one of the views from Humpback Mountain I'm in the process of climbing, which is about 36. So I got another 1,000 feet of elevation to go. But here's the view for where I'm at this point. Don't know for sure, but I'm thinking that's the summit that a Humpback Mountain that I have to get onto. I'm on a ridge right now, but it's going to continue up. It's going to be a killer. Well, I'm at 3770, all that work, and this is the view I get from the summit. Trees, trees and more trees. No view. I'm really disappointed. Well, we'll give you an early wrap up. It's only about 5:30, but calling it an early day. The day today was exceptionally hard, much harder than I had planned. There was one serious long mountain that I didn't think was going to be as bad as it was. When I left Priest Shelter, I had a good downhill for a long time, but then once I got to the next shelter, actually not even the shelter, I got to the suspension bridge that goes across the river, and that's when things started climbing. There was a very long climb up what is called Three Ridges Mountain, and it peaked out at just above 3,700 feet, but it took what was it, from mile, yeah, it was about 6 miles long by the time I finally summited it. I believe I mentioned earlier in a clip that I called the mountain Humpback Mountain, but that's what I get for reading the book without my glasses on, and I located the wrong mileage marker. So anyway, I only ended up going to the second shelter as opposed to the third, so I didn't get my 30 miles in today. I only got, in fact, 13.8, so it was actually a pretty slow day for mileage, but it took more time than normal because I didn't get here until like 4 o'clock or something like that, and maybe it's 3 o'clock. Anyway, by the time I got set up and that, which turned out to be okay in the long run because the rain started at about 4:30, and it's been raining on and off since basically since 4:30. So if I had continued on, I would have been caught in the rain, and even though it's light drizzle on and off, it's no big deal to hike in. It still would have made, you know, more trouble setting up because everything's wet. Excuse me. I've been so tired today. So anyway, I'm sitting at Maupin Field Shelter, something like that. Anyway, it's not a bad little place. However, the couple guys here that were here when I got here did inform me that there is a copperhead living underneath the shelter, as well as a couple of black snakes. I understand that black snakes are not poisonous, but the copperhead is. So, needless to say, I don't have my pack laying around and underneath my hammock and stuff. I hung it up today to make sure that I don't wake up with a snake living inside of it tomorrow. I'm not in the shelter as myself, but it's, you know, snakes have a tendency of traveling. So other than that, I'd say the only other real exciting thing is that my dirty water bag, my Evernew bag, that I use to put dirty water in and then filter it through, it has sprung such a leak now that around the opening that it takes like 2 bags to fill 1 bottle. So hopefully I can get a new one in town, because I think tomorrow I will probably head into town. The rain is supposed to hit big time tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock, and so I'm going to get caught in some heavy rain tomorrow, it sounds like. So if that's the case, I will most likely just continue on into town, get there Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon anyway, and hopefully find a place to stay in one of the hostels. There's one operated by the church that I'm hoping to get into because they're a lot cheaper and usually a lot quieter because they don't have the partying going on. So anyway, That pretty well sums up what was going on today.